Welcome to WrenchWay Weekly, where we talk about the industry's hot topics, highlight the voice of technicians, and educate shops and dealerships to help improve the industry. A quick note before we get started, we have some updates coming to the WrenchWay Insiders app that I think you're all really going to like. We have added a discussion area for users to comment on our weekly featured topics. You can still comment anonymously while completing a challenge, just like typical, but now you can also view and participate in discussions with other users about these industry topics. The new release should come out sometime in the next week, and I think it's really going to give you a really nice way to interact with others and hopefully have some productive discussion over some of the things that are really important to all of us. As for this week, the topic for this week is, do you think you're experiencing some level of job burnout? I think it's really easy to kind of talk about this in a context that really favors job burnout or the results coming back as job burnout, because I think we all have that at some level. But our results did come back with 69% saying yes, that they are experiencing some level of job burnout, and 31% saying no, that they aren't currently experiencing some level of job burnout. And when we posted job burnout, we talked about the actual definition of job burnout and what that means. And sometimes that can be kind of a broad stroke as far as what we talk about. And there's days where I feel like I've got job burnout. I think that's common in every business. Now, I think with the tech, there's some different levels there where that job burnout could equal physical job burnout, it could equal mental job burnout, or just stress in general, and really kind of create this additional pressure and really this additional kind of feeling that maybe you don't want to be there. And I think it's pretty natural. So we also posted out a challenge that listed the different symptoms of job burnout and found that the majority of technicians who responded indicated they experienced 6 out of the 8 listed symptoms of job burnout. So the most common of those symptoms being that they're being cynical or critical at work. And so it really comes down to a people thing. I know we talk about the importance of having kind of being surrounded by people that fit your personality type and fit who you are. I think that speaks a lot to that. But let's go into the comments and kind of hear what our insiders had to say. The first is, it was kind of funny, but it's burnout is how I operate. I think that's probably a common sentiment from a lot of people in the industry, and one that we really want to take seriously and hopefully make some positive changes out of. The second comment was, I can see why it happens. Every single day we are bombarded with data that means a lot to management, but not too much to the tech turning the wrench. Our service manager and most that I have worked with in recent years are all in their head. What they know of what happens in a shop is how much the equipment costs. So I think what this individual is trying to say is that a manager really knows the number side, right? And they know that they're trying to kind of hit all of their goals. They're trying to hit everything that they need to while managing their department. And sometimes that can leave a tech kind of clamoring for more information. Why is this important? And such an important piece of management in general is sitting down and understanding and talking with each of the people on your staff to really understand what it is that they want to know more about, right? And then being able to relay why numbers are important, right? If they're growing the business, why are they growing the business? Could that result in more opportunities for that technician across the table? Could it result in more pay eventually? And I think it's just really important to have those candid conversations, and it can be tough. I mean, it's really hard. And even on the technician side, I know there's a lot of people that might not say their true feeling because they're worried about getting in trouble for saying that true feeling, or asking the questions that they really want to ask because they don't want to be an annoyance to that manager. From the technician standpoint, one thing that I would say is that is really helpful for a technician that is maybe in that position is make sure you approach that manager in the right fashion, right? If there's something that you want to know about the numbers or why something's important, you're far better off to say, hey, boss, could I sit down with you for a few minutes? I just have some questions about the way the business is run. And rather than coming in kind of like like a bull in a china shop where this sucks and blah blah blah. Like, you don't want to approach it that way. The more you can kind of take it back, take it down a notch, and truly ask the question in a way that makes you seem like you're trying to understand it rather than that you're trying to berate the employer, you're going to have a lot better success. So huge piece there for you technicians. Make sure you approach it the right way. The last comment that I've got for you is, I have job burnout about every 2 months. I work from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. 6 days a week. Most shops lacking qualified additional help, so days are tough to come by. Days off are tough to come by, excuse me. There's no weekend off rotation. You're expected to work every Saturday yearly. I get mentally burnt out to the point where I get up at 6 a.m., work till 6 p.m., eat and fall asleep on the couch at 7 p.m., sometimes not waking up until early the next morning. This is tough, right? And I think it's tough for both the employer and for the technician. This comes about from the shortage, right? And that we don't have enough people to fill all these slots. I'm sure the employer isn't thrilled to have that person working 6 days a week and essentially 12 hours a day. That's a lot of time. But when you get behind and you're just trying to keep up with work, it can really be taxing on both sides. Now, the job burnout from this aspect is just strictly from probably working too much time, and maybe some level of their spouse is upset that they're not going to go to this wedding with them because it's on a Saturday, or there's a family event that they're not going to be able to make because they're working on a Saturday. And just in my honest opinion, if you expect somebody to work every Saturday throughout the year with no other hours off, it can be really taxing and something that I think you need to watch out for as a manager. Again, kind of taking this back to the other comment where if you are in that scenario where you're just desperate, you need the help and you need those people to work there, I think what you need to communicate to the techs is really, one, what are you doing to fix this, right? And two, do they even want it fixed? Because there are some people that just love working that much. And granted, I think that's the exception to the rule, not the rule. I think you need to sit down with those techs and understand where they stand at. I'm surprised this person only gets burnt out every 2 months. That's a lot of time to work. And if you have any family at all, that can be a real challenge and create some struggles at home that make it not worth it to stay there, not even just because of the hours, but more because of the arguments that you're going to have at home regarding your work schedule. So a few tips that we have on how to mitigate job burnout in your shop. First off is recognize the signs of burnout. Irritability, lower production level, troubles concentrating, lack of enjoyment in the job, and unexplained health issues are all kind of signs of burnout. And this isn't just from us. This is actually something we looked up on the medical side. And these are signs that you as a manager can really look out at a technician and see that something's off, right? I have a really good example of a shop that I worked with where they were going to fire the individual in the shop who had traditionally been a really good tech and had seen his performance fall off quite a bit. And when I challenged that owner to sit down and talk to the person and understand maybe that there's more to it, that's what they found out, that the individual was going through a divorce, going through a tough time, and it just takes a lot out of you. So that can create burnout, and maybe even something that's not a piece of the job, but something that's on the side and really kind of doesn't allow you to be fresh-minded when you kind of take the floor in the morning. So just understand the backside of what's really going on. Number two is to meet regularly to give techs a chance to discuss any issues or concerns, acknowledge their concerns, and actually take action, right? Do something. And if action isn't going to be taken, explain why. So if there's something that you're sitting down and you're truly trying to understand, you want to know what they're thinking, right? And if you're doing this on a regular basis, a lot of this stuff is probably not going to be a surprise. You're going to know that something's continually frustrating them. Now, if action isn't taken and there's no communication back as to why, that's going to cause a great deal of frustration because there's just no communication there, right? And if you're meeting consistently and you're meeting, if it's weekly or bi-weekly, whatever it is, you should be able to have that talk with them. You should have that level of relationship with them to understand and tell them why maybe an action isn't being taken, and really kind of work with them throughout that struggle. Number 3 is to show your appreciation and recognize and celebrate the employee's hard work. An attaboy goes a long ways, right? And oftentimes we're just so busy and so buried that it can be really, really hard to do that. That's pretty self-explanatory, but one of the key things that I would say is understand what an employee wants. One of the things that I made a mistake of was, reading in a business book at one time that everybody loves to be kind of celebrated in the limelight is not always true. I actually had, during a meeting, called an employee out for what a great job they were doing. And they actually pulled me aside later on and said, I didn't appreciate that. I didn't like that you kind of pointed the spotlight on me. I'd rather kind of sit back. If you want to have that conversation with me one-on-one, great. But I'm not comfortable being up in front of everybody. Really, really important to know that. That's something I learned the hard way, and something that really just trying to understand what our point number 4 is, which is find out what motivates your employees. So sometimes it's money, sometimes it's flexibility, sometimes it's a combination of a whole bunch of different things. The interesting piece is to find out what buttons push them and motivate them and really get their focus on that, right? Because maybe if they are experiencing some level of job fatigue or burnout, being able to figure out what triggers them is a really, really great motivational tactic and management tactic that can help you out. So as always, thank you to everybody who provided feedback on this week's topic through our WrenchWay Insiders app. As you know, if you answer our topic of the week in the WrenchWay Insiders mobile app and play our higher or lower game, you get to compete to win our weekly giveaway. A big thank you to our friends at Diesel Laptops for sponsoring last week's giveaway. The giveaway was a $100 Amazon gift card, and the winner was Chuck Muse. Hopefully I've said that all right, Chuck. And Chuck got a high score of 34. This is Chuck's second time winning the higher or lower game. So congratulations to you, Chuck. You've walked away so far with $200 in Amazon gift cards. Probably makes up for maybe some of the lost brackets during March Madness or something. But hopefully you enjoy that, Chuck. We certainly appreciate your participation in the higher or lower game. And Chuck also got a shot at the Queen of Hearts pot, but unfortunately did not turn over the Queen of Hearts, so the pot has increased again to $800. Seems like we just gave away that $2,400, so to see it rise back to $800 again this fast is pretty cool. We did just post some new challenges, so go complete those, earn those points, play that higher or lower game, and get your shot to win some of these cool prizes. Again, the WrenchWay Insiders app is invite only. We do the invite only because we really want to control who actually gets on this app. So if you'd like to receive an invite, you can fill out the form on the WrenchWay website. We'll put the link in the video description below, or you can email us at info@wrenchway.com. Topic for next week is we're going to kind of take more of a positive spin and really want to hear what you like about the industry. And our question is going to be really simple in that, what do you love about working in the industry? I think it's important to focus on the positive sometimes, right? A lot of times we focus on the negatives, but really we want to touch base on what is it that you like? What is it that's great about this industry? And let's talk about it and get that out on the table so that we can educate and teach these shops on how to treat their people. So really, really looking forward to hear what your feedback is on that topic. Again, to provide feedback, log into your WrenchWay Insiders app, find the poll titled WrenchWay Weekly Topic of the Week, and answer that, get your points, and help us out in building next week's WrenchWay Weekly. Lastly, if you like what we're doing, please don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing all your comments on the WrenchWay Insiders app when we're able to have more of a discussion out there, and that should be out by next week's video. So really excited for that. Look forward to seeing you all out there. Have a great week.